I've been playing games a majority of my life.
I've been tabletop gaming for around 8 years now.
Since I was 8, when my uncle gave me a first big stack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards for like my birthday one year.
My favorite part about tabletop gaming would probably be being able to choose whatever it is you want to do when it comes next. It has a lot more openness of structure and a lot more of a chance for you to just have fun with it.
What makes an outdated, tedious form of gaming so popular with so many people? According to Wizards of the Coast, the current owner of the Dungeons & Dragons products, estimated that 5.5 million people play tabletop games alone in the United States.
Oh yes, Dungeons & Dragons is very widespread across the United States, Europe, into the Middle East as well. I know that there are some into Asia.
There are all types of competitions. Some are more wide known. Once again, Magic is the most popular, so you'll see a lot more Magic tournaments in even rural areas. You know, so like my hometown Martinsville will have like probably a couple of Magic tournaments more than they would say for a Yu-Gi-Oh or Force of Will.
With such success around the globe, resulting in expansions for decades at a time, tabletop games can permit a certain level of freedom that video games traditionally aren't able to give you.
Like with video games, things are a little more lax, a little like less stressing, I guess. Like with card games, you can get really competitive, and you'll think more, you'll focus more. It'll take a longer amount of time. Patience is up there because with card games you have to have a lot more patience because some games can go on for at least an hour. Each deck, if you build the decks in certain ways, can all essentially be like a world that you've created. You've got all the members of your army, or you've got all your creatures, and you have them all fighting a different type of deck. And every different deck you play could be different interactions that your characters have with these other types of characters.
Dungeons & Dragons does appeal to a wide audience, mostly because of the malleability of its settings. Dungeons & Dragons is at its core simply a baseline of rules in a sort of reality simulator that allows you to replace the setting with any that you can imagine.
Yeah.
I could take the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rules and I could have it setting in the Forgotten Realms, which is a setting created for Dungeons & Dragons. I could have it set in J.R.R. Tolkien's world. I could have it in the world of Game of Thrones. I could put it in 1920s America. You could have it setting in the far future. Because you have those baseline of rules, you know what you can do, which is practically anything that a normal person would.
With society becoming more plugged into their devices, people who play tabletop games use their games as a way to connect and socialize with their friends. It helps bring people together and break down unseen barriers that you wouldn't usually be able to access.
I can talk to people, so I don't really need card games to interact with the humankind. But it is a good way to pass the time with your friends instead of doing the same old monotonous thing, you know what I mean?
I would say that tabletop gaming is an excellent de-stressor, just as much so as any method of entertainment. Maybe even more so because you get to de-stress with your friends, talk about anything that comes to mind, and just do whatever you think is fun. It definitely is. Being able to go in, do a game like that, it lets you get to know the other people more. It gives you an excuse to talk to the other people.
Some people who play tabletop don't see the creativity that video games bring to the gaming community, but respect the repetitious act of working on something you care for until you've mastered it.
That ability to just see something and then keep trying at it until they're finally very good. Now, what you do when you're very good at it, I have no idea. Maybe just move on to the next game. But it doesn't do anything to promote your own creativity. Whereas Dungeons and Dragons, at the heart of it, is you being creative, you choosing a life for your character, and being in a world that's constantly being changed.